if you have a plan to work around your food allergies and find alternatives, they don't hold you back at all. But making sure that you have that plan is going to be incredible. So you're double checking ingredients, you're packing snacks, you're asking, you're advocating for yourself, you're talking to coaches, you're talking to parents, you're talking to friends about your food allergies. And most importantly, you're carrying your EpiPen if you were prescribed an EpiPen. Welcome to the High School Athlete Nutrition Podcast, where we chat about fueling your performance on and off the field, court, track, or pool. I'm your host, Stephanie Militano, a registered sports dietitian who specializes in helping athletes optimize their performance with a strong fueling plan. Whether you're a seasoned athlete or just starting out, this podcast will provide you with specific strategies and practical tips to help you reach your performance goals. So join me as we explore the world of nutrition and learn to take your game to the next level. Hello and welcome back to the High School Athlete Nutrition Podcast, and we talk all things fuel so that you can perform with confidence. I'm Stephanie, a registered sports dietitian and your nutrition coach, and this week we're talking all things food allergies for athletes because it's Food Allergy Awareness Week. So whether you personally deal with a food allergy or if this topic matters to you because you have a sibling, a child, a teammate, a friend who has a food allergy, I'm so glad you're listening because it's an important topic that not a lot of people talk about. So today we're going to talk what are food allergies. We're going to talk about snack options for those who have food allergies, how to fuel and advocate for yourself if you have a food allergy, and we're going to break down some myths around allergies in general. So this is going to be a really fun, I think really dense and really energy-packed podcast episode. So I hope you can take something out of it. But let's start with some of the basics. What is a food allergy? A food allergy is your body's reaction to a protein in foods. You're having an immune reaction to something that you're eating, specifically that protein in food. Even a really small amount, so like a just a drop of something in your whole meal can cause a significant reaction. And an example I often give to clients or parents or even teams when I'm talking about food allergies, it could be something like using the same toaster. If you're toasting your bread and you don't have a food allergy, in the same toaster of someone who does, and they're maybe using gluten-free bread or a wheat-free bread or a soy-free bread or an egg-free bread, whatever their allergen is, but your toast has their allergen, say it's egg, that could cause a reaction because you've shared the toaster, they've shared that same space. And so it really puts them at risk, a big safety risk. And that's why I want to talk about this today, to give you a bit more tools, but also to really support those athletes who have food allergies. Did you know that more than 33 million Americans have food allergies? And so that's a lot of athletes, a lot of families, a lot of siblings, a lot of teammates, a lot of friends who you may know that have a food allergy. And I want to talk about what are those allergens, specifically the top 9 allergens. So there's peanuts, tree nuts, wheat, soy, eggs, dairy, shellfish, finfish, and sesame. And sesame is one of the latest additions in the last few years to the food label with those top 9 allergens. Those top allergens are all labeled on snacks and foods, and some restaurants will label them as well, which is really helpful if you have some of the top 9. If you have allergens outside of that, it takes a little bit more digging and a little bit more label reading. But I want to start with some of the myths around food allergies, and you may have heard these too. I hear them all the time. One of the first things is, oh, you can cook, I'll just cook it more and that will kill the protein, or that will kill whatever it is, that allergen. And you can't cook out or boil out or fry out an allergen. That protein is there whether you cook it or not. An egg is still an egg, a peanut is still a peanut. And so it's really important to know that you can't cook or kill an allergen like you would, say, a bacteria when you're cleaning something. Myth number 2 is just a little bit won't hurt. They can have a little bit. Absolutely not. A little bit, even a trace amount like we talked about with sharing that toaster, can cause a serious life-threatening event. So these are things that we definitely want to never assume something is safe. Always check in to make sure that it doesn't have that food allergen, or the risk of cross-contact or being near something that has that allergen is low or non-existent. Myth number 3 is that food allergies are just picky eating. False, false, false. Food allergies are not just picky eating. I can't tell you how many athletes I work with who are like, gosh, I wish I could just try peanut butter just once. I just want to see how it is, because they've had peanut allergies their whole life or different allergies their whole life. So it's not just picky eating. In fact, many of those athletes wish they could try some of those things that have their allergens in them. But it's important that they don't, and that they're avoiding their allergens, because they can have that life-threatening reaction called anaphylaxis. And anaphylaxis is really serious. It's your immune system reacting. It's protecting you, but in a really unsafe, really harmful way. So it can close off their breathing, can cause swelling, some dizziness, maybe some vomiting. It's their body having an extreme reaction to consuming that protein, even a very, very small amount. We want to make sure that they are staying safe and making sure that they're avoiding their allergen as much as possible. And so if you have these allergies, this is where I'm going to insert the please advocate for yourself. I'm going to say this many times, many, many, many times in this podcast, and I share it with all of the athletes who have food allergies that I work with. It's so important that you're advocating for yourself. So you're going out to eat, or you're, wherever you are, you're going to someone's house. It's important that one of the first things you share is that you have those food allergies, because you're not really sure what's in their kitchen or what they've been eating. So being very clear and advocating for yourself is incredibly important. And if you're looking for more resources like tools or handouts as a coach, as a parent, as a teammate, as a friend, definitely go check out the Food Allergy Research and Education website, or the FARE website, FARE. The website is foodallergy.org. They're leaders in research and allergen information and handouts and advocacy. So definitely check out FARE. They are absolutely incredible. Let's do one more myth. So a big myth is that you can tell if an allergen is in the food just by looking at it. You can't. You cannot tell if that sauce or that gravy or that soup or that seasoning has an allergen in it. There's just no way. And so one thing you want to do is always make sure you're checking the food label. And I'll tell clients, even if you've eaten this food 1,000 times, read the label again, because recipes change, ingredients change. We had an athlete I was working with, and for a very long time, this one particular supplement she was using was allergen free, didn't have her allergen. And then they pivoted and included coconut water as part of their hydration component of this particular supplement, and now she can no longer use it. And so it's important that you're constantly reading labels, because companies from granola bars to supplements are constantly updating their recipe, if you will. And so making sure that you're up to date and you know exactly what you're eating is going to be incredibly important for your safety. If you have a food allergy, read it. If you have a teammate who has a food allergy and you're trying to buy them a snack, text them a picture. See if it's a good fit for them, or read the label, or talk to them about how to read the label. It's important that you're reading the ingredients and seeing what allergens are in each product you're eating. Speaking of snacks and products and different things, let's talk about some practical snacks for you if you have allergies, because your number one goal is making sure you're eating enough. You are an athlete. You can't just avoid all foods because you have a food allergy. So we want to make sure that you're elevating your game and you're just finding alternatives to different things. One of my favorite snacks to recommend for athletes, especially if you have a peanut or a tree nut allergy, is sunflower seed butter. And one of the best brands out there is 88 Acres. So the number 8 Acres. They're incredible. They have so many products, from seed butters to seed bars to seed nola to protein bars they've added. Really incredible sources of fuel, all founded in sunflower seed butter and sunflower seeds. You get great sources of protein, really good energizing fats, and then you can pair that sunflower butter with an apple or banana, or on a sun butter and banana sandwich, or on a bagel for a quick morning breakfast before practice. There's a lot that you can do with sun butter. You can make energy bites. Gosh, there's so much that you can do with sun butter. Use it as a direct replacement for peanut butter in many recipes. If you're making energy bites or a smoothie, sub in sunflower butter. Will do the exact same thing. Another great snack are roasted chickpeas or roasted edamame. If you have a a soy allergy, go for the chickpea. But these are really great, crunchy, a bit salty, which is great for electrolytes, and they're great for protein as well. So they're great snacks that are portable. You can add them into your own homemade trail mix, which is typically what I'll recommend for athletes who have food allergies, is not relying on a trail mix, which typically has nuts that many nut-free athletes can't have, but make your own snack mix with the roasted chickpeas, with maybe pretzels or gluten-free pretzels, dried fruit, chocolate chips. Enjoy Life is another brand that has a great allergen-friendly chocolate chip, so you can add that into your snack mixes. There's a lot of beautiful things that you can do with roasted chickpeas or seeds as a foundation for snack mixes. The next would be a yogurt bowl. This is great. There are a lot of great dairy-free alternatives to yogurt or gluten-free alternatives to granola, and you can make a really hearty, energizing bowl with the yogurt as your foundation. Then you're adding maybe sun butter on top, some gluten-free granola if you're gluten-free, adding in some berries, maybe some sliced almonds if you can have almonds, or some sunflower seeds to add some crunch. There's just so much you can add to a yogurt bowl, and that's why I love it for athletes. One, variety. You can add a million different toppings. And then two, you can really elevate the energy and the protein content just by adding all those different toppings. A lot of great things. And then if you're looking for portable snacks, I've already mentioned a couple of these brands, but a couple of my top favorite brands, Made Good is a fantastic brand, 88 Acres, and then Enjoy Life are three wonderful allergen-friendly brands that I recommend often to athletes, because they're not just allergen friendly, but they're delicious. And I think that's really important when you're thinking about snacks across the board for athletes, is you need to enjoy them and you need to look forward to eating them, because that fuel is important. And it should taste good too. Regardless of what brand you're choosing, I'm going to say this one more time. Make sure you're reading the label. And then once you find a brand that you like, stash them in your backpack, in your sports bag, in your locker if you're still using a locker at school. Keep snacks everywhere, because you never know when you're going to be hungry, and you never know if there's going to be a safe snack around for you to eat. That's going to be really important, just to have that plan, have some things stashed away in your bag. Food allergies, if you have a plan to work around your food allergies and find alternatives, they don't hold you back at all. But making sure that you have that plan is going to be incredible. So you're double checking ingredients, you're packing snacks, you're asking, you're advocating for yourself, you're talking to coaches, you're talking to parents, you're talking to friends about your food allergies. And most importantly, you're carrying your EpiPen if you were prescribed an EpiPen. This is something I tell athletes all the time. Like, if something happens, you have to have your EpiPen. I would so much rather you have it and never use it than need it. So make sure you're carrying your EpiPen. And if you have it, make sure it's somewhere very clear and easily accessible so someone can get it. There's a compartment on the like a zip compartment on the outside of your bag. Make sure you put it in there. And I always say, even put like a little red ribbon or a blue ribbon or a colored ribbon on there, so that if you're in a pinch and you have to tell a teammate or a coach to go get your EpiPen, it's in the, pocket with the yellow zipper, or it's in the pocket with the pink ribbon. Like, they know exactly where to go, because those seconds could save your life if you're going into anaphylactic shock from eating that allergen. Advocate for yourself to prevent that, but also be prepared and have that EpiPen close by. If you found this episode helpful, please send it to a teammate or a coach. And don't forget to try these snack ideas and let me know what you think about some of the brands I mentioned here. They are delicious. They are my favorite. And as always, if you're looking for more resources, please check out the Academy. It's an online library chock full of information for athletes and families to help you build a strong fueling plan. I will link all of the brands I talked about, plus the Academy, in the show notes. Until next time, athletes, happy fueling.